Good morning, GCBN. This is your Take Charge Tuesday. I'm Lisa Muth, Beth's assistant, and I'm here to help you today bring an incredible training by Leigh and Wayne Zimmerman. They are with the Georgia United Credit Union. They're going to talk to us about our finances, which I think we all need that in our lives, especially right now during this time. I want to remind you guys to be in prayer for Beth. Beth has a great calling on her life, especially this month. God has set her apart and told her, you will do this task for me. And so she's had to rearrange some things, shift some things, really work on faith and trusting God right now. And so she could really use your prayers at this very moment. So when you think of her, if she pops in your mind, if GCBN pops in your mind, just stop at that moment. Say a prayer for her, say a prayer for GCBN. She is going to probably tell you more about that, but she has dedicated herself for this month to do what God has called her to do. And would you guys agree that that's really challenging as a person? Like you get sidetracked and there's things going on. And so if you have any questions or you need anything regarding GCBN, you can reach out to our GCBN Facebook page through the messenger, and we will make sure that we get in touch with you and help you in any regard. If you need membership information, you can reach out to me. My name is Lisa Muth. I'm on Facebook, and I'm also one of the admins here in the Facebook page for GCBN. So we're glad to help you in any manner that we can. We just want to honor Beth right now as she has been called to do this task for God. We just want to make sure that she is able to do that at this time. So we're excited to see what God's going to do through that. We're excited to see what God's going to do through GCBN, even through this crazy trial that we've all been given. Would you agree this is a crazy trial? But it is what we grow through instead of what we go through. And so today I want to introduce to you guys here in GCBN and to the GCBN platform, Leigh and Wayne Zimmerman. Thank you both for coming and talking with us today on our Take Charge Tuesday. I'm going to go ahead and turn it over to you. I will make sure that if there are any comments or any questions, you guys make sure that you put those down. Feel free to share this out. We are also on Zoom if you want to come and be personal with us. We are here as well, and that link is in our Facebook group and in the event as well. All right, so we're going to turn it over to you guys.
All right. Well, good morning. I'm Leigh Gant, and this is Wayne Zimmerman. It sort of sounded like we were married for a minute.
We're sitting close, though.
Yes, we're sitting close to get in the camera. But Leigh Gant and Wayne Zimmerman, and we are here from Georgia United Credit Union. And today we're going to talk about how to manage finances during the hardship. I think, as you mentioned, we all agree that these times are requiring some innovation, some different pivoting, moving, and to rearrange our lives, and our finances have also been impacted. Just want to tell you briefly why we're here from Georgia United. We are not here to sell you anything today. This is an educational opportunity. We do want to let you know that Georgia United is a not-for-profit financial cooperative. That's true of all credit unions. We're not-for-profit, and we have 7 guiding principles. One of them is community service, and another is education. So we love to get out in the community and help people learn more about finances. We will give you some ideas of what Georgia United does. Some of it's true of all credit unions, some of it sets us apart. But again, we are here to advise and to give you some education today. So in today's presentation, and I'm gonna close out the picture of myself. I can. Darn. Whoopsie. I figured that out just a moment ago. Here we go. Just kind of hide that. Okay, so today we are going to talk about creating a budget. And a lot of folks will say, but I don't have any money. What am I going to budget? But the truth is, whether you have a little or a lot, your finances are in your control. We're going to give you some ideas on how to prioritize, and then some things that you can consider at this time as ways to get through this momentary, we hope, time of challenge. Some ways to save, what you can do at this time to protect your credit, and some other options that you might think of, and then things to avoid to protect yourself during this time.
So when we talk about creating a budget, creating just simply an exercise expenses against what your income is. And by doing this, they'll make more informed decisions about your finances. So first, think about how you pay your bill. Are you using online bank, credit, debit cards? One great way to determine your expenses for creating this budget is through statements. Reviewing statements help to ensure you include everything. So you need to have a complete picture of what you're spending your money on. You want to have both fixed expenses, so those that are the same things each month, like a car loan, a mortgage payment, and then variable expenses. So that would be your power bill, maybe your cell phone bill goes up and down, the water bill. There's things that are going to be different each month. You have to take them into account. Sometimes the variables are a great place to start cutting back. An example would be your grocery budget and your energy bills. Buy less food, buy store brand rather than name brand. Energy bills, cutting back on, well, we're going to start turning the air conditioner on here soon, but maybe not running the air conditioner quite as much. Fans, opening windows to the extent that you can. And variable expenses, those expenses you may need to review for more than a month to be sure you have a true estimate. Maybe averages help. I've done that with my personal budget too. Next, list all your income. Take a look to see if you have enough to balance the budget. Income, expenses, it equals zero. You have enough income to pay your expenses. But there's going to be a problem with that, and we'll see that later on. So if you don't have enough to balance that budget and come down to zero, you have to either increase your income or lower the expenses. Something that a lot of people have gotten into in the last several years is called gig income. Gig income would be your part-time Uber drivers or Uber Eats, something you do on the side outside of your normal everyday job, let's say. Selling items online is also a good gig income. Take all that income into consideration when you're creating your budget. If you're collecting unemployment, just know that there's a max in unemployment that you can get. And I think we've even increased that for the short term here because of what's going on. But know what those maximum limits are and know what the maximum amount of time is that you have for unemployment income. So check with the Georgia Department of Labor for those specifics. Prioritizing your expenditures. Now, we've got a list here: food, housing, transportation, utilities, all other unsecured debts and expenses. Some may argue food and housing could be interchangeable. Some prioritize food being number one. General rule of thumb in banking has always been to make your house payment first, because if you're not making your house payment, you don't have a place to eat. Just something to think about. Just know, during this hardship, though, stress can keep you from thinking clearly. Some of us are going to react by just ignoring the situation and trying not to think about it. It's not going to go away. You have to be even more strategic than ever to ensure you and your family have your basic needs met first. So housing, food, your car to get to work if you're still going into the office. You want to keep the utilities running, and then we'll talk about other debts after that. So here's some suggestions on how to prioritize those expenses, assuming, of course, that you can pay for all these items. So housing, 25 to 30% of your income. Transportation can run anywhere from 5 to 15. Things are actually pretty good with gas prices right now. They're low, starting to inch up a little bit. Food, 10 to 15%. Personal care, your hair, your nails, things like that, 5 to 10%. Healthcare, this could be even higher than 10 to 15, but hopefully we can keep it in that range. Loan repayments, 7 to 15% of your income. Utilities, 4 to 7. Entertainment, 1 to 5. Savings, 10%. Now, these are not hard and fast rules, the savings of 10%, just a guideline. You want to try to be sure you're putting money away though. Even if it's just 1%, at least you're putting something away. The old rule of thumb has always been to make sure that you have 6 months of savings put away in the case of job loss or some other type of emergency. 6 months is a lot of expenses, I get that. But always want to try and put some away for yourself for that rainy day.
Now we're going to dig into, I consider some options that can help you during this time. You might consider looking at what could you consolidate. I mean, oh, I'm in trouble, I've got to consolidate my debts. We're not talking about an informed decision to lower the amount of our monthly payments. So here's one of those examples. You have store credit cards. Sometimes they're 20, 25. I've even seen 27%. That's a lot of interest, and it's really hard to get those paid off. You could transfer those balances to lower interest cards, but you have to be careful. You may see balance transfer offers that have a introductory rate for a short period, and then it goes way up. At Georgia United, our balance transfers have no percentage fee attached to them, and you have 12 full months at $199 to pay back your transfer at a low rate. And after that, it goes to a very reasonable rate. I think the highest rate is somewhere around 13%. So we're not talking about the 20, 27%. A lot of people don't even know what their interest rate is on their credit cards. So we will share later some worksheets where you can record what you owe and in particular what the interest rate is and what the balance is. Then you can make the decision if you want to focus on paying off your highest interest rate first, or you want to pay off the lowest balance first and getting that out of the way. But there are some things you can do to lower the amount of interest you're paying on, particularly on credit cards. You can also look at refinancing your car loan if you've got equity in your car. Now, title loans have a bad connotation, but what we're talking about is using a car as collateral to pay off other higher interest debts. The auto loans will always be a lower interest rate than unsecured debt because we have that collateral. So you actually could pay off your existing car loan and just lower your rate if you wanted. Credit unions are known for having low interest rates because we're not for profit. So people don't think they can refinance their auto. But you can take your existing loan, refinance it. I had one young man that was paying 14%. We refinanced to $399. So then you can really lower your payment, or you can keep the same payment and pay it off earlier. You can also look at lowering your home loan at this time during a refinance, if you have the means to do that. Usually they can roll in the closing costs for you. Do check your credit. You can check it at creditkarma.com and review your credit report on a regular basis, because when you do start to control some of your finance and take advantage of some of these options, you're going to want to make sure that nothing is double reporting. Say you refinance your auto, you had your old payment was $400, now it's going to be $350. You pull your credit and they both show there. You can make sure that you request to get that one that's paid off of the credit report. You don't want it double reporting.
So earlier we talked about cutting back on expenses where you can. So just some ideas here. For groceries, shop at stores like Aldi or Food Depot. They typically have prices a little bit lower than Publix, Kroger, Ingles, places like that. Or List. And definitely don't go there when you're hungry. You will buy more than you need. And it'll be stuff that you won't typically eat and you don't need anyway. But clipping coupons, making a list, plan your meals out for the week. Utilities, switch to energy efficient bulbs. Opening windows, keep temperatures at recommended settings, And those settings, about 68 for heat and 78 for AC. Using smart power strips that turn off the energy when they're not in use. Believe it or not, 75% of energy to some electronics can be used when they're turned off. For example, DVRs and cable boxes are a huge drain, and we all use cable boxes. Insurance, contact your agent. See if they can offer you a bundle on all insured items. I know Allstate does that. I'm personally with them. They give a discount when you have your life, your home, and your auto. Do shop around. You have that right as a consumer. Shop around for the best price. This goes for anything. Contact creditors to see if they can lower interest rates or payments. Creditors would rather see you pay back your loans than to have to charge them off. If that means working with you in a time of distress to get you a payment where you're comfortable with, that's still acceptable and will get your loan paid off in a reasonable amount of time, they will do it. But if you are in trouble, please communicate with the lenders. I cannot stress that enough. People think when they get the collection calls, they're just going to go away. They don't. They get worse and worse. Let your lender know up front if you're having trouble. Is your spending out of control? Something Dave Ramsey used to, I don't know if he still does or not, but he used to recommend, consider putting a certain amount of money in different envelopes for different days of the week or different things that you're going to spend money on. That way that envelope goes for that particular item or that particular day. Take credit cards out of your wallet. It's very tempting if you see something on the shelf that you like, that you want, to say, oh, I can use a credit card. I'm always going to pay it off later. You know what? Something else gets in the way, and you end up not doing that. Look for free entertainment. State parks charge a nominal fee to get in. I know I used to do Stone Mountain an awful lot. Cheap to get in. You spend the whole day there. There's a lot to look at, and you don't have to spend a lot of money. Have no spend days. I have to tell my wife about this. No spend days. So days where you just don't spend anything at any store and you stay home, just watch TV. Now some additional resources.
So there are many things at this time that feel like we cannot control them, but there are things that we can control. So let's talk about some of those things that we can do for ourselves during this time. You want to protect yourself from fraud. It's amazing how many scams have been developed just for this particular time. I don't know if you all are getting those kind of contact calls. I've got people trying to renew my car warranty, which is not with their company. They're just trying to get me to sign up with their company. So we have to be really careful. Email links. If you receive an email and it looks official, rather than click on the link provided, get in the habit of going directly to the website. Unfortunately, fraudsters have mimicked Amazon, Bank of America, and other well-known companies. I've gotten a PayPal email before. It looked very official. And rather than go on the link, I went directly to PayPal. There were no notices for me. There were no messages for me. It was a scam. I've also gotten an email from Bank of America. I don't have anything with Bank of America.
Yeah, I get that same one.
It looks very official. And if you will look at the actual address, anyone can buy any address, and it said Bank on or OM America, but it all kind of went together. It looked like Bank of America, but it wasn't spelled properly. So watch the email links. Telephone fraud. If you get a call from someone claiming to be the IRS, please know if they say that or they're from your bank, don't give them any personal information. Your bank would never ask you to provide information over the phone. That should be on file, such as your social security card or your credit card number. I actually got a call from Visa fraud the other day on my card, and it was nice because it said, which one are the last four of your social security number? So there were 3 different ones, and one of them was my last 4. And I did identify, they were identifying me to protect me against fraud as much as I was identifying them to make sure that they knew who they were dealing with as well. So let's talk about protecting your credit. Freezing your credit is the #1 way to protect yourself from somebody taking out credit in your name and ruining your good credit, or assuming your identity and taking out obligations. It is free to freeze your credit, and here's the contact information for each of the credit bureaus to freeze your credit. In addition to that, I think we mentioned earlier to check your credit report. You can actually get free credit reports weekly now during this time. And that is at freecreditreport.com, not annual credit report. Wait a minute, is it vice versa? Let's see if it's here later, but I believe it's annualcreditreport.com, not free credit, just not the ones that had the commercial, because they actually are not the official website. And finally, while you're at it, opt out of pre-screened offers. This will keep you from, you can do it over the phone, it'll keep you from getting pre-screened offers for 5 years, or you can do it online. And if you opt in for them to send you a form to sign, you will be opted out of pre-screened offers permanently. That means no more of those credit card offers sitting in your mailbox that someone else could take out and pretend that they're you. And then in addition to that, go ahead and sign up for the Do Not Call registry. It really does work. It's a national do not call registry. You call from the line that you want to register. There are a few exceptions, and those would be charities, political calls, and then also anyone that you've previously done business with is allowed to call you as an exception to the do not call. So stopgap measures. Here's another area of ideas where you can actually save, particularly at this time. So Georgia United is offering Skip-a-Pay to our clients right now. And if you haven't been in contact with your bank or looked at their website, you may want to do that because I think a lot of people are offering leniency at this time. We've always allowed Skip-a-Pay twice a year for our members for a $25 fee. I've taken advantage of it myself. When my air conditioning went out, I had the choice of, do I want to take money out of savings, or do I want to skip my car payment? So I just skipped my car payment that month. They move it to the end of the month, and my savings was intact. Now, when we do it, there is no charge during this time. We're doing that to help you mitigate the negative impact of the current situation. However, if you do accept a loan extension, such as a Skip-a-Pay, this is another thing that you want to make sure you're checking your credit report. If someone says, okay, you don't have to pay for 60 days, but then they're just going to report you as late, that's not right. So you want to monitor your credit. You could also refinance your loans to longer terms and lower your payment that way. And that does help you with your debt to income ratio. If you can't pay the full amount, Wayne mentioned earlier, pay something regularly. Your creditors do want to see you make a good faith effort. And then finally, you could negotiate a lower rate. Sometimes you'll have to actually close out your credit line with a credit card. They'll negotiate a lower rate and allow you to pay it off, just not to assume any more debt. In some cases, that may be what you want to do. The other thing is moving your due date. If your mortgage or your rent is due the 1st of the month and your car is due the 1st of the month, how about moving your car loan due date to the 15th of the month to give you an extra paycheck to pay it? Some people will move those dates such as that. And then finally, I don't think a lot of commercial banks do this, but I know Georgia United does and probably some other credit unions. We will set up your payment to work along with your pay schedule. So if something's due once a month and you get paid semi-monthly or bi-weekly, we can set up your payment to have a portion come out semi-monthly, bi-weekly, or even weekly. So coming out in smaller chunks may be easier for you to digest. Back to the loan relief where you skip your payment. I do want you to look out for that on your mortgage loan in particular. There's some mortgage companies that are allowing people to have extensions, even 90-day extensions. but there's a catch, and you need to read all that fine print. And the catch is, at the end of the 90 days, you have to pay all 3 months you missed. So unless you think you're coming into a big windfall, I don't think that helps very much. So do be watching out for that.
So in closing, just want to kind of recap some things. Don't fall for a quick fix. Avoiding pitfalls, credit repair clinics that charge, title pawns. Leigh mentioned earlier using your title on a car to take out a loan at a bank or credit union. That's a lot different than going to a title pawn place. Yes, they will take your title. You have to have that equity in the car. The interest rate is going to be outrageous. You will have a lot of trouble getting out of that and getting your title back and owning that car again. Banks, if you qualify for their loan, we can use that title and lend against the car and make sure you pay that off when you're supposed to. If you need assistance, don't wait till it's too late. Each time you face your fears, they have less power. So you have to hit this thing head on. When money's gone, it's gone. If you have no emergency fund, then that's very important. You still want to put some money away in savings if you can. If you need help, reach out for assistance with food or utilities. Don't wait till it's too late. Someplace that I'm seeing a lot of on the news lately, feedingamerica.org. That'll locate some local food banks for you. Save your tax refunds if you can, and or the stimulus check that Uncle Donald has sent out to a lot of people, rather than paying off all your debts. Yes, you want to get caught up on monthly payments if you can, but you don't need to pay stuff off. If things are tight, make the payment that you can and work on getting things better. Don't neglect your self-care and your stress management. You want to be able to think straight. You don't want to keep going to the refrigerator and pulling out the frozen candy or maybe some other things that you'd like to have to relieve stress in there. Working out, deep breathing will help you focus on making the budget, cutting where you can, helps the brain. Remember, this too shall pass. We're all in this together. Success may not be guaranteed, but failure is never fatal, and we will get through this. You can't pour from an empty cup. Keep your eye on the ball, too. Are there any questions, Lisa, that we could address? And we can't hear you.
Oh, yes. You need to unmute, Lisa?
I guess I need to unmute myself. We don't have any questions asked at the very moment. But what I can tell you is, or ask you, is if we do have questions, can we refer them back to you guys if it's something that we can't help them with? Would that be okay to do? Can you hear me?
Would like to,
Yes, we can hear you.
yes. Yeah, if anyone wants further information or they want to be connected with one of our financial service officers or just talk about a personal situation confidentially, they are always welcome to reach out to Wayne. Wayne is a branch manager here at Gwinnett, and he's available to speak with people about that. Oh, and I wanted to mention one other thing too. You know, our kids are going through this unusual circumstance with us, and I just want to encourage people to bring the kids into the family decisions. When adults whisper about things, it's very scary to children. If it's so scary, adults have to whisper, how should I feel? They feel very insecure. But you're going to be making decisions, and someday they're going to be making financial decisions. So have that opportunity to talk about finances with your kids. You know, it's fun to grocery shop where you can save money and let the kids be involved in that. or just talk about it, especially now that you're shopping online maybe and doing the pickup. But bring the kids into it. Don't leave them out of it. This is going to be a learning experience for them. So I do encourage you to do that as well.
Absolutely. I think those are great things. Some of the things that jumped out at me were, Wayne, when you mentioned power strips, your smart power strips, be smart on that. I never really even thought about that. Call me dumb. I don't know, but it's just something you don't think about. You just turn the lights off, turn the light on, you plug things in. It's just not something. And especially at this moment when, people are trying to cut back, we're trying to see where we can mitigate those things. And I think that was so many things that you gave were awesome, the both of you. That one stuck out to me. And then another one was to contact your creditors. A lot of times we want to shove it under the rug and maybe it'll just go away, and it doesn't. It does not go away. And so kind of heading that off at the pass, I think that in the situation that we're in, I would like to think that everybody is sensitive to what's going on and they want to help. So reaching out to those lenders and talking with them and seeing what they can help you with, I think that was something that really popped out. And then you mentioned freezing the credit. I think you mentioned that, Leigh, freezing your credit, because there are a lot of scammers right now, sadly, but true. That's what happens. And they're very tricky. They are so tricky. So doing that. And then I loved what you said too about reading the fine print. A lot of times, not everyone is in it for the best interest of everyone around. So really reading into what you're signing up for, I think is so key. So many nuggets that you gave for us. Again, as I mentioned earlier before we came on live, a lot of our Facebook viewers will be viewing it after. So we'll make sure to leave your information there with them as well. And if they need anything or have any questions, then they can reach out to you. And we just really thank you for spending your time with us. I know your time is valuable, especially at this moment. And you're a branch manager. You're working as we speak. So thank you for just bringing this amazing information to us so that we can be smarter and better in our decisions, especially at this time.
Wonderful. Thank you, Lisa.
Yes. Well, if you guys need anything from us, we are here to help. And GCBN, we will see you on the next Take Charge Tuesday. We do have Kristen coming in tomorrow with our workout. Come on in here, 8:30. She's going to be showing us different things this month on fitness, and Wayne mentioned that as well. You've got to give yourself that time to decompress, to self-care, take a walk, take a shower hot, whatever it is that you do to kind of regroup. We need to do that right at this time. Okay?
Absolutely.
All right. Well, you guys have a great day. Thank you for your time, and we will talk with everyone later.
Thank you all.
Bye-bye.